大家好，欢迎大家收看安娜看法节目。安娜律师楼的律师发现啊，客人无意当中做的事情，经常会增加律师起诉或者是辩护的难度。今天，罗伯特·斯考特·哈泽德律师就要为大家介绍客人最常犯哪些错误，会增加律师为他起诉或者是辩护的难度。罗伯特律师拥有多年从事刑事诉讼和民事诉讼的工作经验，他成功处理了很多案件，也曾经担任一家保险公司的法律总顾问，负责处理所有公司相关的事务，包括诉讼和监管合规。罗伯特律师现在是安娜律师楼纽约办公室的主管律师。罗伯特律师，你好。Hi, Robert.
Hello, Candice. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you very much. Hi, Robert. 根据您的经验哈，客户最常犯的到底是哪些错误呢？
That's a very good question, Candice. So really, the most common mistakes that I see in my areas of practice are the number one would be the failure of clients to put things in writing. This is very, very common amongst the Chinese culture. And I've always found it very interesting. And I've actually asked clients about it because I find it very odd that a client would give somebody $100,000 and based on a handshake, that person's supposed to get paid back that $100,000. And then when they don't and they want to sue the person, they tell me I don't have anything in writing. So apparently it's a cultural thing where back, in China, where a lot of my clients are originally from, a lot of the clients are actually from small villages. And apparently in these small villages, it's never heard of to put these type things in writing because everybody within that village knows each other. It's a small community. And basically, if you borrow money from somebody in that community and then you don't pay it back, everybody in the community is going to know. And, people will just pay back that money because they don't want to lose the respect of the community. They don't want to be ostracized by the community. And apparently that's worked for hundreds of years, over there. So like anybody else, people that, like any other culture, people that immigrate to another country, they take their culture with them and they, apply the same things over here as they would over there. Unfortunately, over here, it's very, very difficult to enforce, an oral agreement. Some oral agreements cannot be enforced. Like in New York State, you cannot enforce any oral agreement as to real property, like the purchase of a house, the purchase of a building, things like that. That is probably the biggest problem, that I see as far as that goes. The second biggest problem is payments being made in the form of cash. Whether it's payment to employees, whether it's payments to people to pay off a debt, whether it's payments made in the ordinary course of business. When they're cash payments, it's very, very difficult without any receipts from the person that received that money to prove that that money was ever paid or that money was ever received. So, because of those two problems, there's a lot of things that, we do in order to try to protect the clients from those type things happening again in the future.
罗伯特律师，那您到底会如何协助这些客户，防止他们未来犯类似的错误呢？
Well, Candice, what we do is we explain to them the importance of putting things in writing. A lot of these clients, especially if they've been in civil cases that we've handled with them throughout, they understand the importance of it now, but unfortunately it's too late because the problem already occurred for that specific case. But that's only one case. They have their entire future ahead of them. So what we do is, some people want to get paid cash. That's just the way it is. If that's the way that they want to operate, then, there are ways that we can protect the client by making sure that there's cash receipts, which, have the date, the amount of the payment. They're signed off upon by the person that's being paid. We also, as far as employees that are getting paid that way, we develop signing sheets where the employees state, their name, the date, the amount they got paid, and then the employer has to put that into their payroll records. They obviously also have to pay the payroll taxes on it, like any other employer, whether they're paying in check form or in cash form. But with those things documented that way, if an employee comes back later on, or if a creditor or a debtor comes back later on and says, I wasn't paid, at least we have documentary evidence to be able to show to the court, show to a judge, show to a jury. And that really strengthens the client's case, because it's very difficult for somebody to believe somebody when all they're testifying from is their word and there's nothing in writing. It's a he said, she said, and then it comes down to whether or not the jury believes that person or believes the other one just based on testimony. So if we have the documentary evidence to back us, things with that person's signature on it, that bolsters the testimony of the client. That definitely sways the judge or the jury to make our client more credible, more believable. And it definitely assists them with with their prosecution or the defense of their particular claims.
好，今天非常的感谢罗伯特律师以自己的经验为大家介绍客人最常犯哪些错误，增加律师为他起诉或者是辩护的难度哈。有任何问题的朋友呢，可以打电话给罗伯特律师进行详细的咨询。好，今天再次感谢罗伯特律师，也感谢大家的收看，我们下期再见。